Hello YouTube, thought I'd do a quick video here. I had to put my repeater back on the bench, so I thought this is a good time to do a quick video. Squelch tail. Should you leave it on or should you turn it off? Now, of course, this is a personal preference. I put my repeater back on the bench because I want to turn it back on. Now, there's advantages also, and there's also disadvantages of having a squelch tail. Now, if you're wondering what is a squelch tail, on the GMRS way two-way radio repeater, as the one that you see in front of you here, the Retevis RT97S model, when you key up a radio and you unkey it, you hear it. Ch-k. Now let me demonstrate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. That ch-k. Now the nice thing about that is it serves kind of a couple purposes. One, it lets you know that you're hitting the repeater. Let's say you're on the very edge of your repeater distance and you want to know if you're hitting the repeater at least. You may not get any audio back, but you want to know if you're hitting that repeater. And if you hear that squelch tail, that tells you that you're hitting that repeater. So that's why I'm turning it back on, because I've been doing some experimenting and I can't tell if I'm hitting the repeater or not. Now, I do have a simplex repeater, but if that don't pick up any audio, that's not going to do anything. So, that's kind of the one advantage of having the squelch tail on. The other advantage is it kind of lets you know the repeater's, for the most part, working. What I mean by that is if the repeater loses power and you key up your handheld or a mobile and you don't hear the squelch tail, well, there's something maybe wrong with the repeater. Either it lost power or there's something else wrong with it. So it kind of tells you two things. Now, on the disadvantage side, of course, is when it comes to VOX, voice activated switch. What that does is that's keyed up by the sound. So when it hears that, it thinks well, of course, obviously it's a sound, so that the Vox keys it up. It thinks it should do it because it hears sound. And that can cause cycling. Some of you may have noticed if you have your repeater hooked up to a Zello channel or some other type of, that if it has a squelch tail on, it may cycle back and forth because it keeps hearing itself and it keeps replaying and it keeps cycling back and forth. Now, some software can adjust for that, which is nice. You can have it cut off the end of the transmission, which in turn would cut off that squelch tail. Although it could cut off a couple words too, depending on how the person talks. So that's kind of one thing bad about that. I had the squelch tail off for about a month or so now, and it's okay. I just, when it comes to my area, and I have such spotty reception. Like I said before, I'm in the hole. It's hard to, for me to really tell am I hitting the repeater or not. So I need the squelch tail turned back on, so I'm going to turn it back on. Now, for some of you that, may or may not know how to do it, I'm going to show you how to do it on the Retevis RT97S repeater. This would also apply to the Retevis RT97 repeater. Now, I'm going to let's go ahead and turn on. So here's the software. Now, you're probably wondering, I'm going to mention this now because I'm going to get a lot of people will be commenting. I am using the Midland software for this. I've done a video on this. You can use the Midland software. It will program the repeater just fine. And the reason why I'm using the Midland software is because when I do these videos, for some unknown reason, the Retevis software is kind of picky and I can't get to work. If I shut all my recording equipment off, then it works for whatever reason. So that's why I'm using the Midland. But it don't matter. Either software will work. What you got to do is you got to plug in your programming cable. So I'm unplugging the power cable. Now I'm going to plug in the programming cable. Now you heard my squelch tail already turned on. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. First thing you got to do is you got to go to COM port. Select the COM port your programming cable came up as, in my case, COM port 6. Now I'm going to do a read, and then I'm going to hit read. There's no password for the Midland. Now this is the Midland MXR10 software that I'm using on my Retevis. So it says finish. I'm going to hit close. Now if I go to edit optional features, here is where I can turn off the squelch tail using the Midland software. Now, tail tone eliminate. Right here, turn that on to on, and then turn this to off. that's how you turn off the squelch tail on the Retevis, well, for that matter, even the Midland MXR10 repeater, or the Retevis RT97S repeater, or the Retevis RT97 repeater. That's how you turn it off. Now, I wanted it on, so I'm going to turn this back to off, and I'm going to turn this to 1. This is kind of a, I don't want to say it's seconds. It's not seconds. It might be milliseconds would be my guess. You can tell it how long do you want the to be there. I like it on 1. I don't want it too long, or otherwise it interferes with other software. So that's how you do it. Then you go ahead and you click write. So I'm going to click write, and voila, you can see a programming down here in the bottom, and that's how you turn it on or off. Pretty simple. Like I said, you can use the MXR10 software to program your Retevis repeater. So, but that's how you do that. And then there's also too, there's where you can adjust your squelch level on your repeater. Just FYI. So that's how you do it. Now, like I said, there's a lot of advantages, but I personally like it. I'm turning it back on, as you can tell, because I need to know if I'm hitting the repeater or not. That tells me something. Like I said, I just need to know that in my case before I do any testing type of a situation. So there you have it. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. Please subscribe. Thank you, and have a good day.